Good morning, I'm Frank Powers, and this is Lifestyle Tucson, the program where I speak to our neighbors, the people behind the scenes of our amazing organizations, small businesses, and nonprofits. Our friends are informing you how they serve our community, and they are here to give you updates on future projects. Let's make some new friends today. Yeah. Homelessness is a big issue we discuss here on Lifestyle Tucson with many organizations. How do we help the homeless is something we always ask, but how do we help our homeless heroes, veterans? This class of people that sacrificed a lot for us to have the freedom that we have to fight for, or more realistically, have someone fight for us. It's a question that was asked in 1989 by a group of individuals concerned about the rising number of homeless veterans on the streets of Tucson, and they took action, and Esperanza En Escalante was formed. Located on approximately 19 acres, EEE is continually being evaluated and updated, always with the needs of veterans in mind. They provide housing, social services, programs, and transportation to assist a veteran's transition into everyday life. EEE works closely with the City of Tucson, the state of Arizona, the Veterans Administration, and many other institutions and organizations meeting the physical and social needs of our honored veterans. Today, I'm fortunate enough to speak with Suzanne, CEO of Esperanza, and board member extraordinaire Nathania Chaney. Welcome to Lifestyle Tucson.
Hey, thank you.
Did I say it right again the second time?
You got it.
Okay,
Everything
good.
Perfect.
I worry about it. I'm all walking in here. Hey, oh, Esperanza, what are we doing today? They brought beverages. I've got a boba tea. I'm super pumped. They're obviously helpful folks, and they're helping a lot of people, especially veterans. So I really enjoy the fact that I got to meet you at the big concert that we were at, right? At The Rock. Is that where we hung out? That was a big deal. And there's another show coming up. Let's get right to it. You're going to be, again, fortunate enough to be there for the Black Moods at The Rock, I believe it is, August 17th, raising money for your organization. Let's hang out at The Rock that day, raise some money. But what are we raising money for? Give me a little bit more of a 101 of what your organization is all about.
Okay, so hi there. Esperanza really is about a fresh start for homeless veterans. Our veterans have a lot of trauma by the time they come to us. Typically, they have trauma when they're going into the military, escaping family problems or other issues. They have some additional trauma in the military. And then at the end of their service, they often feel like they are lost. And that causes a lot of homelessness. And we're here to help our veterans get going on a fresh start. Last month, we had 9 veterans move out on their own into their own homes. So that's what we're all about, really allowing them to relax, be safe, be with their brothers and sisters, and then start working on the problems that they've had that have prevented them from finding permanent housing.
It's a big deal. It's about that mental health really a lot. I like that you say help them relax.
Yes.
That's important. That's really when you find out who you are, isn't it? When you can actually just let's unwind for a bit and relax. And that's got to be such a tough situation. How can a person who's homeless relax?
Right. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
They're uncomfortable constantly. They don't even have a comfortable place to sit.
Yeah.
They're surrounded by people who are afraid of them, who do not want to look them in the eye, who are just trying to avoid them. And so they come onto our campus. Everyone gets them because they're all veterans. And the staff is there to really support them in a way that makes them feel proud to be the person they are, as they should.
Quick question. You had 9 that just essentially they've leveled up and they've moved out on their own. How long from start to finish was that process, or can that process be? Even the shortest version or maybe the longest version?
Yeah, we actually have 3 levels.
Okay.
So we have a program called Bridge to Housing. So a veteran might come into town. They might not have a home for a couple of weeks, and so they might just stay with us very temporarily. Then we have a program that's called Hospital to Home, and that's for a veteran that's been hospitalized and lost their housing because of it.
Wow.
Yes. A lot of veterans, they might be in the hospital for 3 months or more. If they don't have that support system, they lose their housing, and so they'll come to us. And then our final program is called Service Intensive. And so those veterans might be with us for up to 2 years. They have a lot of barriers that they have to overcome. They might owe a lot of money to a prior apartment building. They might have a criminal record. They might have some severe mental health issues. And so they'll come and stay with us for a longer period of time.
How many people are you helping right now on the campus as we speak?
As we speak, we have 47 individuals. And then their children, we have about 12 children with us in our transitional program. And then over in long-term housing, That's another program we have. We have 58 families
Wow.
and 48 seniors.
Think of that, because sometimes when we're talking about veterans, we just automatically think of the single, the individual.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, no, they have children, and then they have families.
They have families.
Like, that's huge. That's a
Yeah.
lot of folks there on this gigantic campus, which is a big deal. It's amazing that you've got this space to provide for them, so many acres and so many opportunities for them to, again, move up, level up, and get themselves back on track. Everybody, honestly, needs a helping hand at some point in our lives. We all do. I don't care what you've done or who you are. Getting
Exactly
help,
right.
right? And they've sacrificed something that does cause them really a lot. It's going to change who they are as a person. Again, I've had friends that have joined the military, and people that do, they come back and it's different. They are
for
very
sure.
different.
Absolutely.
Yes. Even again, you send a kid away to college, they come back different. It's a different experience. And military service, I mean, it's tough. You know, they're turning people into warriors to a degree, some of them. And that's really something that is, how do you come back? You know, they've made movies about that. The Lost Warrior. That's what Rambo's about. It's
Yeah.
about the warrior that comes back, and now he doesn't fit in society, or at least he doesn't feel that way.
That's right. And I'd say it's our combat veterans that have the hardest time.
Yeah.
So many other military members, they're trained to do things that are transferable.
Okay.
But being a combat veteran is not a transferable skill.
Right.
They are also most likely to have a lot of trauma.
Right.
And so a lot of times we'll see that combat veteran come in, and they might have they have to go through some anger training. They have to do a lot of things because they have been trained
Yes.
to be explosive, to be anger, to be able to do those things. And so, yeah, it's amazing to see the transformation while they're with us.
It's true. So my brother-in-law was a Marine, and he survived 2 tours, but he came back because his life flashed before his eyes as he's in a bunker, he's in something, pokes his head out, pew, hits his helmet.
Yeah, wow.
His helmet saved his life. He almost got shot right in the head.
Yeah.
That is insane to think about, right?
Yeah,
Haunted
absolutely.
him. It haunted him.
For sure it did.
Right.
You know, and if you're a veteran with post-traumatic stress, you're not sleeping. You're got all of these flashbacks going on. You can't cognitively, your memory's gone. It is really impactful on people. And so they just really need a break.
That's important. That's really important. All right. And we got to give them that break. And that was Suzanne. I just want to make sure the CEO. But now let's hear from our board member here and tell me a bit about your experience and why you're involved with this great organization.
It's an interesting full circle opportunity that I had. So about 14 years ago, I worked at a bank that was around the corner, and sometimes they would get in a golf cart and they'd come over to the bank, and I just got to know some of the gentlemen that would come over. And what strikes me about this is the pride that they have in their campus and with each other, the community that they've built there. And so getting to know them at the bank, they invited me over and they said, hey, come hang out, come see what we do. And I'm like, you guys can have people over? And, so I went over just to go visit, and I'd go over once a week and hang out on the porch with them. I would help them with any financial questions that they had, help them with account services. And then I just formed a bond with them. I've always loved cooking and serving homeless when I was young. And so I would sponsor like little barbecues there, just kind of come and hang out. And then a few years ago, Suzanne became the CEO and presented me with an opportunity with a board member ask. And it was like, man, what a great way to really dive in and just be more connected with them.
This is why I love Lifestyle Tucson. I get this opportunity to interview all you folks, because it is often a story like that where it's either a mom has an autistic son and she starts a nonprofit. A mom has or an aunt or an uncle, like Pints for Pink was a guy that he's great. And again, he starts his own nonprofit, right? You just getting involved, knowing these folks, becoming friends with them, helping with that. I need financial advice. Are you kidding me? You'd be my friend for life.
Right.
That's the thing. Just being over there, that it naturally transitions into this, hey, would you like an actual role here, right? Would you like to get involved?
Right.
How did you start volunteering for the homeless when you were young?
My mom, we would pick homeless people up, and we had a pickup truck, and we would have them get in the truck, and we would take them to our house. We would have them help us with yard work or just, doing various tasks. And then we would cook dinner and feed them outside on the picnic table.
Wow. Where'd you grow up? Here?
Yeah, here in Tucson, very northeast side of town. And I think just serving the community was always a really big part of her journey. She's an immigrant from the Philippines and really felt rooted with giving back to the community. Anybody who knows Filipinos know that they're very much food service oriented. That's a part of our love language. I think it's just part of our history.
That's what I was like. Where'd you grow up? Oh, I was here. But there's a cultural reason this is happening.
There it is, right? And so that was just part of the cultural reason of, where she grew up. Everyone lived under one roof. They had several kids that stayed in a bed. They didn't have the opportunities that we have here. And so I was just very much ingrained with service work through specifically homeless and feeding them and making sure that their needs are met.
Wow. And that's brave, because that is something I'm sure some people hear that they're like, that's crazy to do, or they would never do that. And again, the world's a little different now because
it's much different than it was in the 80s.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Because again, there's a difference because we're coming out of Vietnam in the 80s, and it was more of that. Whereas now it is like there's unfortunately a lot of drug-addled folks that are wandering our streets that are having their issues. And again, when we talk about the world as everything's gone up and up and up, the living check to check concept where, man, more and more. So with these military vets, if they're in that situation, and then, we go to the hospital, well, there goes everything I worked for.
Everything.
Yeah. That is terrifying to think about. It's terrifying to think about because I'll tell you, when they say like, oh, there's a lien on your house, they don't ease up. They don't care. Right. And that's what's crazy. So let's talk more about, that was just incredible, by the way. That was Nathania.
She
that was
amazing.
incredible.
Oh, thank you.
No, that's insane to think about. Step up and do something out there. Remember, I always try to get a call to action.
Yeah.
Okay. And one of my favorite things, I speak with the Gospel Rescue Mission a lot here on the show. And Lisa Chastain is amazing and does a lot. And helping homeless folks is very important. And it is scary. That's unfortunately part of it, right? Where people are scared of them. This, what you're dealing with, is in a way a different level of homeless person. It is not a meth addict that is just addled on the streets. They have gone through a situation. They've gone through such a situation that's just so trying, and again, a sacrifice with the promise of like, you're a hero. Yeah. You're a revered person. You're going to join the military. That's a big thing.
It's a big deal.
It does not get rewarded as much. They get lumped in a bit with politics and some of people's nonsense.
Yep.
Where
Absolutely.
people will villainize our soldiers or our military volunteers. A lot of different roles in the military besides just soldiers, but a lot of these people working for the military, they get villainized. They get villainized in a way that police officers get villainized, and it is something that is sad and needs to get a little more modern when it comes to the perspective of like, you can talk to veterans now. You can talk and meet a lot of folks and really understand the faces that have done it. A lot of Lifestyle Tucson is, I like to say, I meet the faces behind the places of all these organizations. Well, these veterans are the faces behind your place too.
For sure.
And there's nothing to be afraid of because these are just people that have, so they just need, honestly, probably more than anything else, someone to talk to. Is that real? And community?
Absolutely. And community and someone who gets them.
And an advocate also. A lot of times they do get lost in the weeds and they've just gotten so used to being overlooked and disrespected, and at a certain point, right, it just feels so helpless, and it's like, why bother? So I think that's what a lot of what the staff brings to them is just this advocacy to help see what they can do and how they can better their lives.
And they come to us, the veterans especially. So I've worked with homeless individuals my entire career.
Tell me a little bit about I got Nathania. How did you get started in all of this, and why is this such a real thing for you as well?
Yeah, well, I think, my story is that my mother was a social worker downtown Baltimore City. And I loved what she was doing for the community. And my father's an engineer. And so what comes together is a nonprofit leader. I think the two of them combined. And so I started working with homeless individuals right out of college. And it's such an amazing community. And when we talk about, like, we're afraid, that community will take care of me in a way that you cannot imagine.
Yeah.
Right.
I worked in D.C. for so many years. And, a simple story is that I once had a person from our dining room. We served 1,000 people a day in that dining room. Came up and grabbed my arm because he wanted to tell me something. And then 3 other homeless individuals stepped up and said, leave that lady alone, that nice lady alone. And they were always looking out for me.
Right.
And in our veteran community, there's no way harm would come to any of us, staff members.
Right.
They look out for each other. they've always looked out for their community, and they're still doing it.
Yeah.
And they're really amazing people. One of the things I love about this job is that I walk out the door and I'm in the community.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so often you get into a position where you're like in some admin building separated, at least I have been. And now I get to know them personally. I sit on the deck, hang out with the dogs, play with their kids, and it's wonderful.
That is wonderful.
Yeah, and the veterans, they come with so many skills, but mostly, I will tell you, it's care for others.
Yeah.
That is what they come with. And in doing that, you know, I've seen veterans pay for somebody else's apartment fee to get into an apartment when they have no money
When they
themselves.
have nothing, they'll give you everything.
Often isn't the people, I will say often it's the people with nothing that actually do give the most.
That's true.
I was a waiter, and we're the best tippers, right? That's the idea. When you kind of go through it, you know what it's like. And again, these folks have been, in a way, whatever we say about them, deep down, it's about taking care of civilians and taking care of folks. It's ingrained in them to take care of people.
They are.
And that's
They're
important.
Caretakers.
Yeah.
And they're the most appreciative group I've ever worked with. Yeah. So, you know, when you get into social services, you never expect a thank you.
Okay.
You know, because a lot of times that person might not have that kind of grace to give back.
Yeah.
These veterans every day, thank you, Suzanne. You saved my life. You know, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Esperanza. And that's not true. They came with so much to begin with. They're, you know, they have so many skills. They have this incredible social network that they just needed to tap into.
Right.
But it's loneliness and it's isolation. All these things break people down, just like any abused person, really.
Yes.
And so they come in and they're in their own room, but they're with 5 veterans that are living in the home with them. They become such great friends. You'll see them biking down the street together and just really enjoying that friendship. And that's honestly what takes them forward. We're here as a catalyst, but it's the community that really drives itself.
Well, I'm going to tell you this, that I talked to, again, a lot of these folks and everybody of all ages, I'm a children's entertainer too, and the number one question when it is like, so what's the most important thing? It's making new friends. And as we get older, it's hard to make new friends. It's just harder and harder, right, to make new friends.
That's true.
And for these people who feel isolated, they need that group. I always say this thing, it's more involved with volunteering. And it's don't try to make your friends do the things you want to do. Make friends with the people doing the things that you want to do. And these veterans meeting other veterans that are there to heal, that are there to move past what they've gone through, that are there to step up to their next step in life, and seeing those like, well, you went through what I went through. You got deployed to the same place even, but now you're graduating on to your own thing. There's hope for me. I never thought there would be because I'm seeing it right before my eyes. Seeing's believing. So that's really a big deal. It
is a big deal. And it's also the reason that I always give veteran preference when I'm hiring.
Yes. Okay. Wow.
Yep.
That's incredible.
For sure. You know, if you're going to have a case manager, if it's me sitting across the table from you and I've never experienced what you have.
Yeah.
It's different than sitting across the room with somebody who can literally say to you, I get it.
Yep.
We have multiple people on our teams who have been homeless themselves as veterans. You know, that guy or girl, she really gets it. When she goes in or he goes in to like maybe fix somebody's unit, they put so much care into it. They know why it's important for the veteran to be honored because they need that themselves and they deserve that themselves.
They absolutely do. Now, I do have a really important question. All right, we've talked to you very important folks right here, and it's very heavy. What about Moochie, though? Tell me about Moochie, the head mouser. Because I've been all over this website.
Well, I will tell you, Moochie just moved out.
Moochie just retired.
Moochie, that's fantastic, actually. Growth for all.
Yes, it's
Feline
true.
friends as well.
Moochie had been with us for more than 14 years.
Wow.
Moochie was starting to slow down.
Yeah.
And one of our case managers is ridiculously in love with Moochie. You go into her office, and she just had all these cat toys. She got Moochie a therapy license as a therapy pet.
Nice.
And so Moochie has gone to her home.
That's phenomenal.
And yesterday, she brought Moochie back into the office.
Yeah?
Moochie was not happy.
Oh, really? Moochie's retired.
She's done. She's ready to be
Moochie
retired
was
now.
angry all day long.
That's hysterical. like, I
She
got
got
my
a
gold
taste
watch.
of the good life.
That's hysterical.
Yes. So Moochie's like, I want some plush carpet.
Yeah.
And, yep.
That's
So,
amazing. All right, well, let's, as we're winding things down already, see how quick a time
wow.
goes, I know. Let's just talk about some of the other things like, do you do any other annual events throughout the year or something you could talk about? Just promote some fun things and different ways that you perhaps fundraise besides just going to the website where people can donate and help you out.
Well, right now we are doing a drive for hygiene items and cleaning items.
I saw that, actually.
Yes.
Yeah.
And actually, Nathania, she is really helping us out with a lot of that stuff. But we're doing that drive right now, and it's just so wonderful to get all of the things that the community is donating to this group of people. As you can imagine, if you're living on the streets, it's really hard to take care of your hygiene.
Yes, it's a big part of it.
It is a big
of
part.
it. You can see the list of things that you're collecting and some of that stuff over at eeveterans.org. So go get involved over there. What are some of the items that people are looking to get?
It's toilet paper, it's paper towels, it's deodorant.
Cleaning supplies, toothbrushes, toothpastes. It's important to remember that there are families there, so children, women, men. We need products for all of the age groups and genders.
Yes, absolutely. Canned goods, because we provide for all the needs of the veterans, and you'd be surprised how many veterans come to us with zero income.
Right.
They have nothing. And so, it's taking care of a huge family. Could you imagine if you had, all of those people to meet the needs for? So, toilet paper is a constant need for us.
Yeah.
Those kind of things.
Okay, there you go. So, yeah, I'll tell you, and especially these days, those grocery prices have all gone up for every single thing. So if you've got some that you can give, if you've got something to give, help out, right? If you've got that family history where your family's been a part of that military, let's help out some of these veterans. There's a reason for it. Lisa Chastain says sometimes your cause finds you. So that's the idea, is that find something you care about, because if you're here in my show and you're still not involved with some organization, hang on. Doing, you got to do something. Do we got to beg? We got to do this all the time, every week. I'm asking you to get involved. All right,
I
help these
appreciate
vets. Right, that's the idea. And again, get involved. Go to that website. You had a great story from Arizona Illustrated, who I love them. That's right there on the homepage. Watch that. It's super informative. Share that link around.
Yes.
Right, watch something fantastic. I love them, and they really did a great job with that video. But there's definitely more ways that people can get involved. You've already told me several success stories, which is great. Are you looking for new volunteers?
Yes, we always have a tremendous amount. And there's all different skill sets and activity level of volunteerism that we have available. Everything from light landscaping, cleaning, sorting through donations, even just communing with the veterans. Sometimes I tell people, have a meeting here. We can facilitate your group meeting. And then you can do a little bit of volunteer time and order lunch in and sit with the veterans and have lunch with them. Once you set foot on the campus and you spend a little bit of time just communing with them, it's life-changing. And that's where you really start to understand where their needs are and how you can really dive in and help a little bit more. But there's just so much opportunity on campus for even an hour a week.
I'll tell you, show up with some boba teas. Everyone's going to be your favorite person. Right? That's a good idea to do as well. But see that, just go get involved. Hang out. Get off the couch. Get out of the house. Go get involved with all these great organizations, but especially this great organization. If there's you've got the wish list on the website, you're accepting donations for all that. But if you had a wish for your organization, what would it be?
Yeah, if I had a wish for our organization, it's that people throughout Tucson would know who we were and would consider us for their tax credit donation.
That's right. Available for the tax credit donation, which again, I believe it's actually up a little past 500 now for individuals. It's not, it used to be 400 and change. Now it's a little past 500. It means as a couple, it's a little over $1,000 that you can donate to an organization through the Arizona tax credit. So go find that out. I had a great episode with IBE that explains how you can do all of this. So just pick the organization that you care about. And it is that easy. Help out an organization for nothing, and you're helping someone out. So that's a great way to do it.
For sure.
I think mine is going to be having people come and just really look the veterans in the eyes, spend some time with them, and get to know who they are. I think just having that moment is going to be a really life-changing experience and will really open up opportunities for people to share that story with others and help get the word out. So I would just say I would love if everyone could just spend an hour on campus and just donate their time and their love for that day.
That's what I always say. If you can't donate your money, donate some time, and everybody's got an hour.
Everyone's got an hour.
Right? So I hope that we all see you down there at some point. Remember, she said everyone. So it's going to be a big party and a lot of boba tea.
Beautiful.
Right. Because today we made friends with Suzanne Bond, CEO of Esperanza, and board member extraordinaire Nathania Chaney, who's, again, that was one of the best stories I've ever heard. You grown up. That's fantastic. All right.
She's
I would
amazing.
love to have you back on again in a little bit at some time in the future and help you out as much as I can.
We'd be
We
honored.
really appreciate what you're doing for the community. It's
do.
so important. Thank you.
I loved it. Thank you so much. This was Lifestyle Tucson. Bing bong bing, time for a recap. Boy, I love making new friends, don't I? That was a great conversation with Esperanza, and I met them at The Rock for a big concert that I got to MC last month, and they're going to be back at The Rock August 17th with the Black Moods. Alien Atmosphere is going to be there, Petty Human Emotions, August 17th. It's a Saturday, and it's benefiting Esperanza, so it's a great way to get involved. Meet the people that I just met from this great organization, and that's the idea, is why don't you go meet some of these veterans? Meet these folks, meet the veterans, that's how you get involved, and check out the tax credit donation option. Remember, if you're not giving away your tax credit to some nonprofit in Arizona, you're just wasting money. It's free money you get to give away, and help a charity doesn't cost you a dime. Go get all that information anywhere online, or like I said on my IBE episode of Lifestyle Tucson. It was amazing. All right, so it was really just something here. Again, I like talking to people about helping the homeless, about helping veterans, making a call to action, maybe making you feel a little guilty. All right, but that's the idea, is get involved, do something with one of these great organizations that I talk about weekly here. And this seems like one of them. Please go check out their website over at eeveterans.org and watch that amazing little video from Arizona Illustrated that is done on them. It's a great piece. It's a great piece. So go get involved, get as much information as you can. Go follow them over on Instagram at instagram.com/EEEveterans. Facebook, same thing. It's eeveterans.org. And their website again was eeveterans.org. So I want to thank our new friends at Esperanza for joining me today and for that boba tea. You've been listening to Lifestyle Tucson. If you're a nonprofit that would like to be on the show, email lifestyletucson@gmail.com. For more information about this program or to listen to something you may have missed, go to the Sunday Mornings page on klpx.com, kfma.com, mixfm.com, or espntucson.com. You can also subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, and Audible, or wherever fine podcasts are saluting the flag. Follow on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at Lifestyle Tucson, because I'm your BFF, your best Frank forever, Frank Powers. Toot, toot, Tucson. I love you the most.